Alrighty, guys, let's file this next segment as interesting, under the category of interesting. It's not a rumor, although it could lead to a lot of rumors, and I don't frankly know how to take this in terms of validity, in terms of is it confirming anything or whatnot. So, anyone remember the fact that not only was there one shocker in Spider-Man Homecoming, remember there were two shockers? Actually, for those of you who remember all the way back to the rumor mill of Spider-Man Homecoming, this was way back, almost 10 years ago now, right? 2015, 2016, 2017, the rumor mill. People were worried. I was worried. Why are there so many villains in this movie? You have Tinkerer, you have Shocker, you have two Shockers, you have Vulture. What's going on here? You have Iron Man. Is this movie too much? Turns out, and maybe this is a lesson that we can learn for the upcoming Superman film that has all these other auxiliary characters, that it's not a big deal if the film can balance it really well. Case in point, the two Shockers, I mean, one died about halfway through, and the other one really didn't do a whole lot in the film. And in terms of Tinkerer, he was just kind of there, just making things, and Iron Man wasn't. So anyways, all that to say is that we can look at a film, and we can be like, why are there so many characters? But it just depends on the execution. But anyways, the character of the Shocker, so it went through two characters. The mantle went through two characters. One got vaporized by Adrian Toomes, and the other one kind of, he got beat in the bus yard in Spider-Man Homecoming outside the school during the end conflict. And so the actor who played him, BOKEEM WOODBINE, I mean, I never really had thought about the fact that he could return because I guess he didn't die in Spider-Man Homecoming, but, he is definitely a Spider-Man villain that's out there. I mean, we've had two MCU Spider-Man films that have come after it, and sure, he doesn't really fit in Spider-Man Far From Home because that takes place in Europe, and he doesn't really fit in Spider-Man No Way Home because that's a multiverse film. So I don't know, depending on what Spider-Man 4 could be, sure, maybe he could appear. And he, while promoting, it looks like Apple TV Plus's Government Cheese series, I've never heard of this series before, he had this to say when being interviewed by The Direct. So The Direct says, quote, "Where's the Shocker? Where did you go?" And BOKEEM WOODBINE says, "That's a very good question. I'm wondering the same, but I get a feeling it might not be the last time you see the Shocker." Okay, so first of all, headlines running around. BOKEEM WOODBINE hints at Spider-Man 4 return, MCU return. And that's definitely a possibility. I mean, if it is really going to be street level, then, if you're going to have your Daredevil and Kingpin, which is a rumor, I have to say rumor, because there are all these other crazy theories about Null and symbiotes, and there's the street level version that has been reported and rumored out there. So all sorts of different versions of the story are being reported. So I'm just here to say that, one version of the story is street level, for sure. And yeah, I mean, you could see, the Shocker showing back up again. Maybe the Tinkerer is going to be, that character in Daredevil who makes all the suits and stuff like that. I forget his name. But in the original Daredevil series, I mean, sure, maybe the Tinkerer is making armor for these villains and heroes and whatnot. I don't know. Maybe the Shocker shows up again and he's sort of the crossbones of the, Captain America Civil War. He shows up at the very beginning, incites the conflict, and then he's out, right? I don't know. I have a feeling, though, that this is referring to something else entirely. Because I would put this at about 80% that BOKEEM WOODBINE is not referring to Spider-Man 4, and instead is actually referring to Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man Season 2. I think that, while it could make sense for him to return, I don't know why, versus a series like Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, where MCU cast members are returning to voice some of their roles, including Charlie Cox as Daredevil, right? And you have A-listers, such as Coleman Domingo voicing Norman Osborn. So it's not like, this series is just replacing everybody with and I'm not saying this as a derogatory thing, a derogatory descriptor, but unknown voice actors, because again, voice actors probably should be unknown for the most part, because they're usually the ones who are trained to be voice actors. That being said, the MCU is not opposed to bringing back the main cast for their voice roles and bringing in bigger actors. And while BOKEEM WOODBINE is not an A-lister per se, in the same realm as Charlie Cox, Vincent D'Onofrio, Benedict Cumberbatch, who didn't appear in Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, but I think that this is a show where he could definitely slot back in. He doesn't have to play the Shocker again. He can just voice him for a little bit. And also, this is a series that is very bent, very, very convicted on just putting out the entire rogues gallery of Spider-Man. And I think that's a good thing, by the way. If you listen to my spoiler discussions for Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, this is a series that is just really wanting to explore the entire vast landscape of Peter Parker and his, the characters that surround him. We had so many villains in season 1, which is great because they balanced it really well. And I think that in season 2, we're going to get even more. We're going to get Spider-Gwen as well. I would suspect we might get Miles Morales eventually, if that's within the legal rights of the MCU to do that, given their agreement with Sony. And I think Shocker is probably a huge candidate to show up here. Because Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man is going to release next year, I mean, it's probably going to be a yearly kind of show for the next couple of years. I have a feeling BOKEEM WOODBINE might either have already recorded some lines for Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man Season 2, or is planning on it and has it on his schedule. So when he was asked about it, I kind of suspect that he already knows that, and that's why he answered it this way. Because let's be honest, right? For a character like BOKEEM WOODBINE, this is not Robert Downey Jr. pre-Doom announcement, and they're like, "Are you coming back?" And Robert Downey Jr. is like, "Oh, I don't know, maybe." Because I mean, you know, if they say that, sure, is it a hint that they might be coming back? Yes, but is it confirmation? No, not really. It's sort of the anything's possible. But with smaller characters like this, when they're like, "Oh, you know, you never know." I mean, what's the reason? What's the incentive for them to say that other than just to kind of be a troll, right? I mean, if he was not going to be in anything in the future and he just didn't know, then the answer is, oh, yeah, I had fun, but no, I don't think so. And that's that. So I have a feeling that that's what's going on here. But guys, let me know in the comments down below, do you think we'll see BOKEEM WOODBINE's Shocker in Spider-Man 4? Or do you think it's going to be what I think it is in the, not the Amazing Spider-Man 2, but Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man Season 2? Let me know in the comments down below.